This is Alan Stang. More from the grand jury's lawsuit against the Fed. Details in a minute. Please stick around. Yesterday, as you will recall, we began to look at the criminal indictment recently filed against the Federal Reserve by the federal grand jury in Salt Lake. The federal judge and the U.S. attorney there squelched it, so the grand jury filed a civil suit. Yesterday, we looked at the first 3 counts of that lawsuit. Here is part of the fourth and last. Quote, as defined at 12 U.S.C. 152, the terms lawful money and lawful money of the United States shall be construed to mean gold or silver coin of the United States, and 18 U.S.C. 334, Crimes and Criminal Procedure, requires that whoever, being a Federal Reserve agent, or an agent or employee of such Federal Reserve agent, or of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System, issues or puts in circulation any Federal Reserve notes without complying with or in violation of the provisions of the law regulating the issuance and circulation of Federal Reserve notes shall be fined not more than $5,000 or imprisoned not more than 5 years or both. End quote. In short, says the grand jury, the Federal Reserve, along with the rest of us, must obey the law. If it breaks the law, it is subject to the penalties specified by that law. Nothing in the world could be more just, but the Federal Reserve and its henchmen do not agree. The Fed does what it likes and spits in the law's face. After the grand jury tried to bring the Fed to justice, the U.S. attorney refused to deny rumors that he would try to abolish the grand jury. Salt Lake City Attorney Gary James Joslin says this, quote, the implications are terrifying. This would set the precedent for dismissing a grand jury any time its investigations proved embarrassing to someone with enough clout to force a dismissal, end quote. In other words, Cosa Nostra has much to learn from the Federal Reserve. With all due respect, the Fed makes the Godfather look like a penny ante crook. When the grand jury began investigating the Fed, U.S. Attorney Brent Ward, whose office is supposed to provide legal advice and issue subpoenas requested by the jury, began dragging his feet and withholding that advice. The grand jury felt that Ward and Judge David Winder were limiting the scope of its investigation. Question: what happens to somebody who is caught interfering with a grand jury investigation? Answer: he is arrested and thrown into jail. Judge Winder's message to the mob apparently is that it's now okay to go ahead and interfere. Would you agree that the legal battle in Salt Lake is one of the biggest stories in the country? Your reporter thinks it is. But notice that the national press is typically trying to pretend it isn't happening. The powers that be don't want other grand juries to get the idea. Be with me tomorrow for more. This is Alan Stang. Think about it.
For transcripts of the Alan Stang reports, contact the program sponsor or send $1 to the John Birch Society Features, Belmont, Massachusetts 02178.